Hello, hello. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me. How are you? Well, the time has finally come, and I'm here to share with you what in the world I've been doing for the past 11 months. And on a side note, this ice cream has just completely melted in my hand. But it's all good. All right, here goes. From January to July, I've been traveling the world and capturing soundscapes. As seen here, 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 here. And from July to October, I've been putting together these soundscapes and the films, as well as rehearsing my presentation. Yes. Oh yeah, Andy and I have also been in the museum installing my piece. And in between, there was a lot of procrastination that went on, and it was well worth it. You almost got it, you almost got it. Good try, good try, good try. Which brings me to tonight, I'll share with you my journey and what I've learned throughout the past 11 months. So sit back, indulge in your chocolate, and enjoy the show. All right, let's do this. Please welcome your host, speaker, and overall very good-looking man, Jung Woo So.
You know, when I shot that, I was really hoping it wouldn't rain, so it would look seamless, but it rained, so yeah, that was shot beforehand. Alright, so before I begin, I would like to thank all of you guys for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it, and it's an honor for me to speak for you. And the night will go as followed. It will start with a talk in which I will share 3 stories, and afterward, we'll have a Q&A preceded by the opening of my piece next door in the Samick Art Museum with food, wine, and more chocolate. Okay, let's do this. It was December 2016. I was in the studio. Well, I first was working away at finishing away my piece, 100 Composers, which a lot of you in this room were a part of. And I was also finishing up a collaborative piece I did with Catherine. What's up? And while in the studio, my heart began whispering. And that's always a good sign, because when my heart starts whispering, that usually means there's something fun in store, and all I have to do is start tuning in, and that's exactly what I did. So I tuned in, and what my heart told me to do was to listen. And this was really, really strange for me, and I couldn't interpret what that meant, because I listen, I make music, I make sounds, I listen to my environment, I communicate with people, I listen to them talk, but with further introspection, and as the cold days rolled on, I realized that I wasn't truly listening. What I was doing was hearing. I was hearing music, I was hearing people, and I was hearing the environment around me. I was using my ears as a passive tool rather than an active one. And that realization really did not sit well in my stomach, and here's why. This is how I look at my creative process. It's just 2 parts, input and then output. And I was depriving the input because I was putting all the attention on the output. And that would be the equivalent of depriving a restaurant of its ingredients. So when I came to this realization, I made a drastic career move, and I decided to become a restaurant supplier. Just kidding. You guys really believe me? Yeah, I love how you didn't challenge that, yeah. But I did make a decision. And that decision was to dedicate the next 7 months of my life to seriously just listen. So I designed a project which would accomplish just that. And for the next 7 months, I would travel around the world recording soundscapes and silent films at 20-minute intervals. So that's what it would basically look like. And during the time of the recording, I would do nothing but simply sit and listen. All of the silent films, and plus a map I would program with a lot of help from Paul over there, my homie, would be transformed into an installation piece, which we will all see after the show. In addition, the reason I chose soundscapes was I wanted to listen to sounds as composer and philosopher John Cage would say, outer sounds. So most of the sounds we listen to are inner sounds, such as music. I don't know if maybe that Post Malone song you heard while you worked out this morning, right? He's conveying a message, emotion, and there's a story behind it. And I love that. But to focus on the actual listening aspect, I had to focus on outer sounds, which are soundscapes, like 7th Street intersection. If there is no meaning behind it, it's just a collection of sounds. So I grabbed my microphone, camera to document the entire process, and laptop, and headed across. That's not the Atlantic, but wait, I guess I forgot a slide. This is some of the rigs I did throughout the world. And I headed across the Atlantic to begin embarking on my 7-month-long listening adventure, traveling to over 40 locations in 2 continents. And now I would like to share with you just 3 stories from that time span. First is the story of discovery. It was March, 2 months into my project. I was in Granada, Spain, setting up my microphone to record in a beautiful opening. I was trying to figure out how to place the microphone, whether to place it facing this way, this way, this way, up, down, left, right, so on. And I was losing daylight, and I just went with my gut, and I just pointed it towards the skyline. And after I got my recording, I played it back, and I really wasn't happy about it, but there were just tons of mistakes in the recordings, but I was extremely happy that I pulled through with actually recording in the first place. And what I learned from this was that failures are not failures unless you make them out to be, that they're in fact learning opportunities. And this is when I came to my realization with my relationship with perfection. My sickening obsession with perfection is what made me such a great artist, but at the same time, it's the one that hurt me the most. I would sometimes go months perfecting that one sound, weeks to look for that right noise, and days spent on the microphone placement. But yet, the perfection did really hurt me. I would often be terrified to work on my projects. I would open a project and just look at it as a mouse would look at a cat when it's cornered. And this is how I would spend most of my days in my room, which, by the way, if you want to witness me being scared, come to Swords 202. I make music in there every single day, and you're more than welcome to join. And I couldn't take action because I was simply afraid to fail, but more specifically, afraid of failing at being perfect. So from this, I made a decision, which was that for the remainder of my project, in conjunction with all the recordings, I would compose and finish a piece every single week, which would later become known as my travel sketch series. And to put that into perspective, it would usually take me an average around 3 weeks to a month to finish the piece. So that would be increasing my work speed by 300 to 400%. And I was absolutely terrified. And here's how it went.
That's incredible. All right, off to the airport. Wakey, wakey. I am Leon, and I met a group of architectures, and I've gotten rescued, and we're heading downtown. Okay, I'll catch you soon. Bye.
Transcendental experience.
Thank you. Yeah. I did this so it was impossible not to face failure. Doing that was just a mess of just goodness. All those pieces, I'm not fully satisfied with it, but I didn't care. I was still very happy. And the reason I wanted to experience as much failure as I could was during my time in Spain earlier, learning that failure are learning opportunities. And I'm not saying go out and purposely fail, but what I am saying is don't let fear hold you back from taking action. Time spent doing is 1,000,000 times better than doing nothing at all. Failure is inevitable in life. It's how we grow. It's our growth agent. So condition yourself to recognize it as learning opportunities and get excited when you get confronted with failure. Embrace it and make it yours. The next story I want to share with you is the story of connection. It was late July, I was nearing the end of my project, and I was in Barcelona on my overnight layover. I'm headed to Croatia to record Sounds of Lakes. By this point, my listening skills had developed tremendously. I was so in tune with my surrounding. I was so in tune with that snow. It was as if the needle on the vinyl record had just perfectly synced up. It was wonderful. I was in the gate in the airport with my eyes closed, just listening, because that's what normal people do. just so weird. That's what I would do. I would just like walk around and just sit with my eyes closed. And I noticed there was a gap of silence within all the chatter. So I opened my eyes and I saw a tall, beautiful woman, Toss, wearing cool pants. So I went up to her and I was like, cool pants. And she was like, excited to respond and thanks. And we began to chat, and later her friend, Desiree, returned from the bathroom and joined in on a conversation. One thing led to another, and before you know it, three-way. Thank you so much. I would have been so mad if no one laughed. But what ended up happening is, on our overnight layover, we ended up collaborating on a song together. And keep in mind, we literally just met. Here's how that went.
Oh, I love it so much already. Okay, I envision it like massive lobby or a massive empty space.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you can.
But if I'm saying you sing it too, okay?
Both gotta sing.
Is that thank you, John Woo?
If there's anything you want to throw in.
Because we want the I like the oh
Girl.
Oh.
Bye. Passion. Oh yes.
Before you even have the
Yeah.
I will.
Oh God. Passion fruit line. Most definitely not. I wish I know where to go with
Do you know what I
this. It's
mean?
disgusting. It's gonna make me cry.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you actually playing piano now?
Yeah.
What's that? Oh my God.
Yeah, something like that. I would like for them to intertwine together.
Like almost it's like almost off the beat.
It gives it like a little bit of, it gives it edge. I want to turn the camera off because you're totally rinsing my memory.
Yes,
Wait, before you return, love that.
we may need to intensify something.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. I even like that. It's true. Oh, bye. Shut down. I was living the dream. It was amazing.
It was everything and more. I love it.
It was, no, honestly, it was amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're not American by the way. We just we're totally putting on the
We're
accent.
from London.
You heard it here first, and we're gonna go catch our flight.
Today, TV.
And
Destiny.
yeah, bye.
We had so much fun to the point that we realized we were waiting at the wrong gate and we had to sprint across the airport and we barely made our flight. But even if we missed our flight, it would have been all worth it. As time went on, events like this became more prevalent in my life. I realized this was the case because the better I became at letting go, thanks to a dissolved ego, that's what caused it. And here's what I mean by that. As kids, we're so good at having fun. We jump through puddles, we climb trees, and we play freeze tag with our friends. But as we get older, we begin to adopt something called the ego. And we begin losing the sense of wonder and adventure. Instead of jumping through puddles, we go around them, and like the worst of you guys, who actually give it an attitude, like, ah. And instead of climbing trees, we climb step stools to get our box cereal. And instead of playing freeze tag with our friends, we sit at home and watch Netflix. Nothing wrong with that last one. And if you don't keep track of your ego, before you know it, you simply become lame. This is what sort of happened to me in 2016, in the winter of 2016. Before I embarked on my trip, my ego got a little out of hand and I became a Grinch. But something incredible happened throughout the months. Recording sounds all over the world blew my mind regarding just the sheer size, beauty, and power of the universe. This put everything into perspective, and I was made aware of my insignificance. I came to realization that I was literally a dust. And I was beyond small. There I go. And this realization kicked the Grinch out of me. It dissolved my ego. And with a dissolved ego, I was able to embrace my own humility, and therefore I had nothing to lose. I was free, and once again, able to let go and have fun. I'm in no way saying that ego is all that bad. There is good ego, the ego that constantly makes us strive to become the best version we could be. But what I am saying is be careful of FKPPs, which is short for Fun Killer Party Poopers. This is the ego that tries to trick you in believing your self-importance comes from the number of likes on your social media post, who you hang out with, the brands you wear, how many rubber stamps you've collected throughout your career. Remember your insignificance, and that you're the only one who can define you. No one or nothing can do this. You're in control. So dissolve the ego, let go, and go out and seriously have some fun. Forgot to show my kid picture. Yeah, go ahead and have some fun. And I was rehearsing and my mom said this is embarrassing because she's in it. So I want to take some time to, that's my mom, and that's my sister, and they're right there. So give them a round of applause. The third story I want to share with you, and one I would like to finish tonight with, is the story of love. The past 11 months have been an incredible journey, and I am truly grateful for all those that made this possible, that helped make this possible, supporting me along the way, sharing invaluable perspectives, but most importantly, giving me their time and love. My friend Abel from Spain, who taught me how to go with the flow. My friend Daniel from Holland, who taught me how to enjoy the little things in life. My friend Antonio, who taught me how to approach music from angles I didn't even know existed. And Flavia and Peter, whom I now call my Austrian parents, who not only taught me so much about unconditional love, but taught me how to share it and give it. We're able to live the beautiful lives we do and do what we love thanks to so many people, our family, friends, loved ones, everyone, stretching across generations after generations. They're the ones that help make this possible for you. Always remember that and be grateful. And I highly encourage you to keep that spirit roaring and pass on the love, support, and care for the generations to come. Giving is an incredible power and force, and I ask you to try it out. And this list extends to you. I, with the help of Gabby and Anthony, thanks guys, each one of you has in some way or another helped me, supported me, and provided for me, sacrificing your time, attention, and energy. And I've invited every single one of you here personally. And you guys are what helped shape me into the crazy creator I am today. And it's with your tremendous care, support, and love that I'm able to go full force into pursuing what I love. So from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank you guys. You guys are truly awesome. I love you guys. And what I love is creating experiences and sharing them with you. And that's what I would like to conclude tonight with. I would like to bring you around the world with me to experience the remarkable acoustic wonders that I was so fortunate to be a part of. So sit back, recommend eye closed, relax, and listen. This incredible adventure was a result of me tuning into my heart, listening to it, and most important, following through with it. I know a lot of us in this room are graduating soon and have the faintest idea what to do next. This applies to all of us. And truth be told, I have absolutely no idea either. And that's the fun part. Life's a big game of improvisation. Life's too short to ponder the questions of whys, ifs, hows, and buts, and whys. The fun happens when we get our hands dirty and begin doing. There's always an adventure out there waiting for you, and it's waiting for its author. So the next time your heart whispers, you have a decision to make. I know what I would do. What would you do? Thank you.